honestly feeling for Xing himself, as Viper was not relenting on that poor bottom lane. It will be Team WE on the blue side this time, so changed it up a little bit. EDG on the red side. We're already through the thick of things here in the first ban phase as Lee-Sin, TF, Caitlyn banned away by Team WE, Zeri, Corki, Renekton by EDG, and we're back to basics here. It is the Aphelios for Team WE, the Jinx Thresh combo for EDG.
Yeah, I'm kind of surprised by the Aphelios first pick, right? Like, it didn't work out too hot for them the last game. Now you're kind of running it back, but at least now we are getting ViuBiu going for that early game skirmish jungler, right? Going over towards the Jiejie and the Rakan left up. All right, WE, this is where I want to see it.
This is Exodia.
This is it. This is what I was talking about. This is where they can actually look for early game skirmishes. We'll have to see if they're going to be able to do it, because against the EDG, that is no easy task. But have to see what the plan is following through. Lee-Sin banned away. Maybe a Jarvan or something to come through here in the jungle for Jiejie. Kind of has to go back towards things like the volley bear if he really wants to, but actually going to go towards the Gwen. So trying to secure a strong top side for Flandre.
Wow. So very different approaches here in this second game, especially looking over on the side of Team WE. They're literally checking off all the boxes we wanted for them at the beginning of the day. And like literally, this is your moment to shine already just with the first 3 picks. Like, I'm very excited for this turnaround game from Team WE. But that Gwen is oh so scary, especially when piloted by Flandre. Could still obviously go in the jungle. We've been seeing that a little bit. But now we're into the second phase of bans. We get the Jace by EDG and a respect ban of the volley bear by Team WE.
Yeah, just trying to get rid of the jungle champions. As you say, look, Gwen can go into the jungle. We've seen it twice over the LEC in that. But the jungle is still going to be the main port of call, because you assume that's going top for Flandre.
Yeah.
The upside for EDG, though, getting rid of the Jace, getting rid of the Rise as well. So
the Poppy.
Trying to figure out what the Poppy. I love it. Yeah, I mean, Jarvan probably going to be the best bet here. Going to leave the counter pick open for Scout. And we kind of said already, like, Jarvan, just kind of a nice all-rounder. You don't win out in the 1v1 against the Xing, but you can still tend to walk away. You still got good gank set up in that, so he's still going to be pretty good.
He feels, for me, he's the enabler jungler, right? Like, if you pick Jarvan, you are looking to get your lanes going and find advantages for your lane, right? And setting up your teammates. So I'm obviously Jarvan in his own right is very strong, but I've seen that a lot here recently. I'm very excited to see Jiejie take that piloting of the Jarvan. On the other side, though, it gets some spice here. Akali, he locked in.
I'm curious if it's going to be the Kennen here for BiuBiu. I feel like it could go relatively well with the composition. Like, you got good engage set up with the Rakan, which you can follow up with the Kennen. Nice engage, but okay, no, it's actually going to be the Akali top. And there it is. Okay, Shanks going to take the LeBlanc. So Scout is just like, give me the Lissandra. I'm totally fine. And it kind of works out well, right? You've got 2 big DPS champions coming through with the Jinx and the Gwen. So having that lack of damage from the mid lane is going to be totally fine. It does mean, though, like, you've got a lot of early setup on the wherever side of the map you decide to play through, because CC in both the Jarvan and also in this Lissandra is going to do a huge amount. I'm curious to see, though, what WE's build is going to be for BiuBiu, because we actually haven't seen the Chem Tank over in the LPL, but we are still on patch 12.2, so Chem Tank's still a thing, at least at the moment, for the Akali.
Just so interested, right? A little bit of Scout saying, I have the counter pick now. But tried to bring in his own flair with that Lissandra. The thing for me, for Team WE, Shanks, good on the LeBlanc. Can't take that away from him. Last game, it did not work out for the team. So I guess the thing for them is feeling confident in the fact that it was just some mistakes in the early game. They can turn that around. So I want to take a deeper dive into this composition for Team WE, because they did get a lot of the check marks that we wanted them to have at the beginning of the day. Is that enough?
It still feels like a very similar style, as you're saying, Mazel, to the last game, right? Like, strong side lanes coming through from the LeBlanc and the Akali. The ability to find picks is there with the Rakan, the LeBlanc, the Xing, and that seems to be kind of the best way for WE to try and orchestrate themselves. And coming into team fights, it gets a bit messy because you have so many different flank angles that you're trying to work with, but it does mean that they can put threat onto Viper. Whereas for EDG side, you kind of have a decent answer to that side lane pressure, but good amount of team fighting as well, with great engage from like the Lissandra that can set you up.
Well, there we are, the logos shining brightly on the stage, and Summoner's Rift loading up in front of us. We have our second game of the day. Defending world champions EDG look to make it a quick night with a 2-0 victory. But Team WE, they've got to find a hold in this series. They've got to find something to grasp onto.
Okay. WE.
Don't do it.
Okay, I was gonna say don't run into this. This is the game, right? Everything that we've kind of been giving excuses to WE for has been answered in this one. You got Kedaya on his by far favorite pick, the only champion that he has a 50% win rate on. You're looking at Shanks, good duelist in the mid lane, good gank setup, and a really strong mid jungle. Kedaya able to link up with that, especially because you're against the Thresh in the bot lane with cleanse. Xing can be relatively okay to be left on his own for a little bit of time. So I want to see WE now looking for what we saw against Weibo, against Top Esports, with this 3-man unit of the mid jungle support linking up and finding picks, finding moments to go aggressive.
That aggression is going to be key to it, and enabling Shanks as well in this LeBlanc. I feel like, again, going back to that game number 1, it's a strong pick, but you have to get the execution on it, especially, and make sure you're being fluid with the mobility that LeBlanc provides in those flanks, in those early game movements. We'll see how that all pans out. We'll look at this jungle pathing again. No shenanigans this time around the opposite side for EDG and Jiejie, as last time with that volley bear getting the early pathing advantage. But it's going to be pretty calm and collected early.
Flandre, though, did get a word onto the blue buff of VIuBiu, so at least has full knowledge as to where VIuBiu is going to be pathing. So now it looks like VIuBiu going to go for like the 3 camp, potentially into some sort of topside play, especially as BiuBiu taking some horrific trades. So they will spot that VIuBiu is up here, so Flandre will probably want to crash this wave pretty quick, so that then he won't be in danger of VIuBiu coming up towards that topside.
The priority in bot lane acquired by EDG bot lane as they push under tower, but all eyes on this top side of the map now as Jiejie, making his way out of his side of the jungle, will make it over to the side of VIuBiu as VIuBiu comes right around the corner. We're going to get a 1v1 to start us off. Red versus red. Who's going to take it? VIuBiu already at half health here. It's going to be a tightly contested one. You can't take the early skirmishing, Jiejie. You need your team. And it's just going to be an early scuffle going either way there as both junglers come away a little bit scarred.
Yeah, I mean, Jiejie is kind of giving his health bar for the good of the cause there, right? He allows Flandre to get this 4th wave crash, which means that then Flandre can actually go for a nice reset here and walk back to lane, being able to keep his TP and get that big advantage over BiuBiu. So this is where, like, I think Jiejie excels, is like a really good understanding of, hey, I'll give up some of my resources so that my team can flourish. And you're going to see it here, right? Well, I thought we were going to see it here with Flandre looking for the reset, but actually looks like he didn't quite get that crash off correctly.
Not going to find it just yet. Viper going for deeper vision on the bottom side. Just make sure they're safe with this priority they're keeping up. And it is Jiejie going back down towards the bot side. Start clearing that jungle up a little bit. Now, I wonder, I guess that does turn my attention is, do we see more action go to the bot side, or do we see both junglers kind of resetting and pathing back towards these solo lanes?
I mean, you've got options, especially as Jiejie, right? Like, good setup in the mid lane for Scout. I'd be surprised to see a lot of pressure gone down towards that bot lane for Jiejie, just because Viper Meiko perfectly fine to just farm up, try and help out Flandre, but you see already VIuBiu trying to move up into this top side with this big wave collapsing.
Gonna try. There is that big wave. Flandre needs to try to clear it a little bit. VIuBiu buying a lot, or spending a lot of time up here, rather. Flandre in some trouble here. The shuriken flip is going to be available. VIuBiu finally coming into VIuBiu, and Flandre activating the shroud here to be able to buy more time, as Shanks now might have bought enough time to have a 3-man dive up here. As Flandre goes down, is it going to be traded at all? It is not. And Team WE with first blood and a successful dive.
Nicely done by WE. Shanks gets the first TP,
oh no!
But now,
see, how is this happening? How did we get here? Where did we come from? Where did we go? Xing is just dead.
And for EDG, it's Cotton Eye Doe as they managed to pick up both on that bot side. Nice job from EDG as, I mean, just trading really effectively. Shanks managed to TP back to the mid lane first, so he roams to the top side, but when Scout's able to answer for the push that Shanks has, But now it's EDG that can move down to this bottom lane. They picked up the 2 kills and they're getting a turret play for themselves as well. EDG shutting down that early play from WE.
Do you see what's happening in the bot lane right now? Viper is up 20 plus CS. They are just dominating down there. We're going to get a replay and a POV of Meiko.
And Meiko, like, great flash here to set up the play right as the flash comes through from the Aphelios. And then able to pick off more as well. Really nicely done by EDG. And, I mean, for Edward Gaming, right? They're going to start moving around the map now. Meiko moving in towards mid. He's got Jiejie here as well. Buying space for Scout. And you've even got the push in bot lane. So I'm curious to see where EDG want to try and make their presence known next. Maybe they are just going to continue to play around this bot side of the map.
And look at BiuBiu. He's going back towards the top side with the wave crashing from Flandre. Wants to try to get something up there. It's a very awkward spot. But I don't know if he can even get anything against Flandre, who can play very safe on this Gwen and now has a 2-level advantage over BiuBiu.
Flandre needs to be careful though. BiuBiu is up on this top side. Yeah, I mean, it's a pretty big advantage for Edward Gaming. This is where I'm like, okay, WE, like, how do we try and, like, right the wrongs, right? So you can see Kedaya starting to move up towards this mid lane. I like that they're kind of thinking, hey, look, Rift Herald's in a minute. Let's see if they can try and find this early skirmish, or at least some sort of engage, so they can try and pick off members of EDG before it all kicks off. And looks like that's going to be through invading onto this top side. Red's going to be taken away. BiuBiu threatening on towards the Krugs as well, just trying to keep Jiejie honest.
Yeah, nice little play from BiuBiu and the rest of Team W, especially BiuBiu coming down there to keep the pressure up. I'm sure BiuBiu can accomplish that sneaky little red buff steal. But in the grand scheme of things, right, not going to do too much harm to Jiejie as he's actually heading. I thought it would redeploy down towards the bottom side of the map. Looks like the decisions are changing here as well as we speak for Jiejie. But the pressure is still on in the bot side. Level 6 is coming up very soon for Viper and Meiko.
Yeah, I was going to say, I think from the top 3v3 perspective, it's really hard to kind of call that EDG can win that out, right? Like, you've got a lot of assassination potential. BiuBiu is super strong as well. So I think from the EDG perspective, just like, look, if we can't really contest this without Viper and Meiko, there's no point in trying to go for it. So you see Jiejie just kind of moving down to the bot side in case BiuBiu made his way down there. So then he can cover Viper and Meiko on the push. And now with him there, they can move on.
Scout going in for the lockdown as well. The Mega Death Rocket comes through, but not enough to get Shanks just yet. I will say almost a full level advantage between Viper and Xing, as we saw Viper hit 6 as Xing hit 5. So there's the difference, but not going to come up with a kill in mid lane. Will end up in a Rift Herald secured by EDG though.
Bot side though is going to be traded, right? And we know what Aphelios can do when left alone the turret. So you see EDG just trying to shove in very quickly in this bot side and start to move down, so that Aphelios has to give up pressure on the turret. BiuBiu and Kedaya are here though to try and keep him safe.
There's a 2v3 for now, but they're just trying to keep pressure off of Xing while he puts the tower under pressure itself. As EDG a little bit scared to go down towards their bot lane, and Team WE going forward with it. Still under vision though, and have the backup of Scout from the mid lane, but nothing coming of it.
Good threat from WE though. Like, the fact that they were just kind of posturing there means that EDG have to take the long way around, can't kind of take the shortcut into the bot side in case Kedaya hopped over the wall and BiuBiu quickly followed. So it means you get an extra turret plate there on the bot side for Xing. And although that gold lead was pretty sizable in favor of Viper, it's shortened to just 200 for the moment. Although that XP difference still going to be hurting them just a smidge.
Yeah, exactly. But you know, all's fair in love and war, and Xing now having his ultimate will feel like a piece to the puzzle for the team fights, especially how many years is added on with the Moonlight Vigil. But it's been a pretty similar story of like early objective focus being non-existent for both these teams, but less blood than game number 1, which I would say is a positive for Team WE. They're not giving that snowball to EDG that we saw last game.
And this is why I've wanted to see this style of composition for so long from WE, right? Like, you can actually see whatever about the bot lane play going awry is EDG answered, but for the top lane pressure. But other than that, like, WE, like, they're making proactive plays, right? Like, they're they're kind of understanding, hey, look, we don't know if we can really skirmish here, so instead we're going to try and make a play on the bot side, and they get 2 plates back for Xing, right? Like, they're actually making the correct calls in a lot of situations, and this is where I prefer them on these more proactive early game compositions, although Shanks gotta be in trouble.
Gonna have the distortion out there. Pretty slippery is the LeBlanc, especially when you're looking for the skill shots. Flandre in a 1v1 here. Might be in some trouble. Perfect execution. And there you go! The 1v1 against the defending world champion in Flandre. Here's EDG's response, though. It's a 4v1 on the bot side. Xing in some trouble. He knows he's doomed. He's going to go ahead and burn the flash to cleanse, but dies anyways. Here's Team WE as the reinforcements come in. That's big from Kedaya as he gets the triple knockup. And Team WE are actually coming away with this fight. Oh, Jiejie is down. Meiko's going to go down as well to Shanks. And Team WE will find themselves in an advantage of 6-2 against EDG.
And just like that, WE are able to come back into it, answering for the bot lane play from EDG. Yes, the turret plates go down, but those health bars get gobbled up by WE, who get a ton of gold back in their pockets. They'll get the dragon and breathe a nice sigh of relief as they finally take a foothold in this series.
What a turnaround. What a grand entrance from Kedaya, as we're going to actually look at a replay of the top lane fight.
Yeah, I mean, Flandre, you have a lot of armor on this Gwen. She doesn't do so hot against the magic damage, and you can see here, BiuBiu has just been hop, skipping, and jumping away around the entire time. And now to the bot lane play. Xing, surprised he invested both the cleanse and the flash there, but it does mean that you at least get the cataclysm out for Jiejie. So when Kedaya gets this monstrous engage, it's just such a good setup for Biu. A ton of damage, it comes out so quickly with the AoE, and you're able to just clean up then with Shanks coming in over the top.
Triple quickness into the triple grand entrance knockup feels very good, but it will be Viper securing EDG's first turret of the game, the first turret of the game as well, and throwing that gold lead just a tiny bit.
And this is why you can't really give Kedaya Rakan, right? Like, he's so good at being able to find those engages. But, as you say, right, WE coming back onto the map, let's see now what they can do. You've got Rift Child that's not spawning for about another 3 minutes, so at least on WE's side, not going to be looking too heavily towards that objective just yet, but I would like to see them try and, like, as you see now, like, swap into this 1-3-1. You've got 2 kills on towards BiuBiu. We just saw that he can deal with Flandre pretty handily with 900 gold lead for himself. You look towards Shanks as well, who's now picked himself a nice little gold lead for himself over a Scout as well. So the fact that now WE have 2 strong lanes that can try and play through with, like Rakan for Kedaya being able to play back and forth between the lanes, is going to make it really difficult for EDG to try and defend everything.
And this is a great position for Shanks' LeBlanc. This was something that was non-existent last game, but it unlocks so much for this playstyle for Team WE, and specifically for Shanks.
Yeah, I mean, look, Shanks has kind of been the standout player for WE this split, and he's looked really, really good. He's been able to bring back his a lot of the control mages that we've seen from him previously, but I'm just holding on as maybe we're being made up towards that top side. But yeah, I think from Shanks' perspective, right, like this guy has been 30% of the team's damage. Like, he's been bringing out the rises. We've seen him with some stuff that hasn't worked, like the Tryndamere, but even when he was coming up from the LDL last year, this guy was known for a ton of his big control mages, so the fact this meta suits him makes sense.
We'll see in this lane as Team WE try to make another play, and Meiko is just going to die outright. Here comes Jiejie over the wall with the Cataclysm, though, and BiuBiu, he's just dead. BiuBiu goes down, a bounty or a shutdown going over to Jiejie.
Nice job by Jiejie to be able to follow up on that. So support for jungler, EDG will take that, especially with Rift Herald just coming up now. They should be able to move into the opposition jungle, get some vision on this top side, and set themselves up pretty nicely for this next objective. Flandre now moving in towards the mid lane. Flanks on both sides of Xing.
Man. Yeah, Xing. He's just not having a friendly series here, Dagda. He just keeps getting caught out. Feels so bad. But EDG know where they need to strike, and they strike when the iron is hot.
Yeah, I mean, they get to pick on the jungler, so they know that a lot of that damage is missing from that mid lane play. And with Flandre just being able to roam up from top, our bot side, they're in a good spot. Scout now as well, because Shanks showed in the mid, he's getting pushing top. And this is where you can start to see EDG slowly turning that knob back in their favor. Now the gold back in EDG's side. as View will start up the Rift Herald, but with EDG backing away, they're all right to just keep this.
Yeah, you get another neutral objective for Team WE, but we saw glimpses of what makes EDG so scary. The fact they can turn around and fight quickly. Yes, they just got to trade, but that's still scary, right? Like, you're still staying in this game. They actually have a gold lead with their 3 kills down, and that's just the strength that you get with EDG and the macro plays they have. The decision-making around the tower objectives and separating the map a little bit as we get a replay of that mid lane.
Yeah, phenomenal play coming through from Meiko there. Actually stops the grand entrance. It's really hard to try and time that, but he gets it just right. And it does mean that because you're now stuck half out from the or half underneath the towers WE, you're able to get the follow-up from Jiejie. So nice job by EDG. And I think from EDG's perspective here, we're probably going to see them try and play a lot away from Flandre and like keep playing towards Scale, keep playing towards Viper Meiko. Flandre's opted for the I cannot think of the name of that item, the magic resist item that builds into Banshee's Veil. But either way, they've opted in towards that, which means that the Leeching Leer and the Rift Maker are going to be super delayed.
Yeah.
So your strong side of the map is going to be away from where Flandre is, especially with the 3 kills that BiuBiu's managed to get.
And I love this from Team WE. They have red-white on Xing. They have the Rift Herald. They're looking at the mid lane tower, and they've got all bodies here except, you know, BiuBiu on the side there, but they want to try to push maybe a little bit more. Okay, they're going to pull off. I was going to say it might be a little overzealous if they want to go for a second charge. EDG cleaning up the Rift Herald there themselves. It's the dragon that has caught the attention of Team WE.
But you still have Scout pushing in the top side. He got a tower there for himself, so it's tower for tower with EDG still trading. And the dragon is going to go across, but at least Scout still keeping pressure on this top side. Shanks is going to go and answer though, so it's going to come down to a case of like, are these dragons now going to be enough of a hindrance for EDG, where they have to start taking fights against WE there? But the big thing for EDG is like a lot of the early pressure that was going to be put into Viper should start to pay dividends at it, right? Like, he's going to be able to finish off his rapid fire cannon. It's not the highest damage build, but still with the setup that Scout has, Jiejie has as well, Viper can definitely pop off.
Yeah, absolutely can. We, you know, got the MVP for game number 1 for a reason. And especially, you know, be able to still show the strength on this Jinx, even if the EDG have been having a bit rougher time here in the second game. And it still begs the question, this is still EDG. This is still the defending world champions. And it is all about their macro and their late game that is so terrifying. BiuBiu, maybe a little bush play. They're just going to be dancing there with the back, not going to be spotted out by Flandre.
But I like what WE are doing, right? Like, BiuBiu threatening the plays. They're being able to play it through side lanes. The only thing I will say is View showing on this top side, I'm not a big fan of, because now EDG can actually look for the collapse onto the tier 2 bot.
The outer tower does fall for Team WE, but it's going to be peanuts compared to the tier 2 tower in the bot lane for Viper, as they do crest onto this objective. Flandre going forward to try to get this tower damage down, but BiuBiu nicely clears the way.
And now the resets coming through on the top side means that EDG, actually no, they're just going to try and push on to it. So basically calling the bluff here that you didn't back away. So they get the tier 2, and again, map play from WE not quite there, which means that EDG actually net themselves a pretty big objective on that bot tier 2. I don't think they'll be able to like put too much pressure onto the bot lane though, because Flandre is just significantly far behind in comparison to BiuBiu. So I think at the moment BiuBiu should be able to defend, but WE do just need to be careful that like they're not over investing resources like we just saw to one side of the map, where EDG can then answer for more on the opposite.
But it's very obvious that EDG know what their win condition is. They are literally 4-man bodyguarding Viper right now, and it's just hilarious to me. Even at the state of the game that they're in, that they were able to accomplish that. And right, we've seen what Viper can do from these positions, and it's more so about facilitating that now for EDG as we kind of look at those potential win conditions for them and the scariness that comes from Team WE trying to fight them in the later parts of the game, even with, you know, the seeming advantage that they have. And
it seems like a lot of the a lot of that like upfront damage from EDG is gonna have to come to a head at the next dragon, right? 2 minutes until that's up. Viper won't complete his Infinity Edge, but does have the rapid fire completed. You're gonna have Shanks, who's gonna, I believe, be about an item and a half, or sorry, about 2 items in and maybe another half item for himself. BiuBiu is streaking on ahead. He'll have this demonic embrace that looks like complete as well, which means he's gonna have a good amount of tankiness, plus a ton of burn for a lot of the tanky members that are on EDG's side. So this Akali is actually gonna be a threat both to the back and the front line. I want to see if WE now can set up their vision control properly though, because when you come into this team fight, right? You have 2 assassins that want to look for flanks. You have Kedaya, who can also do a lot of damage if he can find the correct flank. So trying to deny vision from EDG is going to be a pretty big objective in and of itself. So yeah, with the minute 30 until that's there, this is oftentimes where we start to see like initial resets come through for these pick compositions, because you can get like deep vision and try and look for picks before the objective spawns. But it looks like when EDG threatening on towards the Baron,
oh my god,
Flandre,
there's no way. Flandre's just dead in another 1v1. BiuBiu gets another solo bolo. Is he able to get away though? Scout is on the other side. Did TP for this one. BiuBiu locked down and taken out, giving the gold to Viper with a big shutdown on top of it.
But the problem was WE weren't in a position for Baron. So you get all this commitment from EDG to bot, but Xing actually looked for the reset. So WE can't contest the Baron, and now EDG are coming through.
They want to fight this. EDG are walking forward. Jiejie is literally in the face of Kedaya right now. View goes back in. Crescent Guard. Meiko has to flash away. The re-engage. The Cataclysm. They still haven't touched Viper. Is it going to be enough, though? Viper firing away with the fishbone. Xing is dead. Viper gets away with a nice dark passage from Meiko, but Shanks is still the troublemaker. TP on the back here now from Flandre, though, to change the difference and change the tides. The Everfrost connects, and ADG are pouncing like a tiger right now as Shanks is dead. The double rocket from the Mimic there, and it's Viper coming away on top yet again, and this is why this team is terrifying.
Their team fight is just so good. And again, EDG find the fight that cracks open the game. Now they'll be able to run over and get Dragon. And I appreciate that they're trading this instead of Baron, because they know that that third Dragon will be so crucial to WE. But watch Meiko here. Like, again, you get this attempt at engage from Kedaya. The Flay stops him from actually setting anything up with this Rakan. And now Viper's free to hit. Shanks tries to go in aggressive, but another great lantern from Meiko keeps him safe. And honestly, like, Meiko MVP for this fight.
It's insane. Meiko is on another level here. The thing for me that stood out before this fight happened, I wanted to bring up that both teams have very different things that they're going for in these team fights, right? You were kind of mentioning earlier, the assassin style comp needs to come through for Team WE on the other side. It's literally peel for Viper. He will carry the game for you. Try to get him into the fight. And it works out beautifully for EDG because BiuBiu got caught out early.
And now you have the Infinity Edge completed for Viper. His damage has just taken a massive level up. And the beauty of having these like multi-assassin compositions is that things like the Last Whisper don't really make a huge difference as of right now. So he can go for these 3 big items and now look for the Lord Dominic's Regard to finish things out. Kedaya tries to get onto Jiejie.
They're still going on a Jiejie. The root does connect as well. But one rocket to the back of the head brings Shanks down a quarter of his health, and Viper feeling himself now, stepping up in the melee range.
This is dangerous though for EDG. They don't have a huge amount of vision, and WE are playing really well around their own. Kedaya trying to see if he can find that quickness into the grand entrance to set things up, but WE playing it slow. EDG have one ward that you can see on the left hand side of your screen here that could set up for a potential flank presence when Scout's teleport does come up, but we'll have to see if they're going to be able to do it.
Yeah, they're going to stay turtled up here again, trying to play off the Viper play style they've drafted for themselves, or at least that it's come down to at this point. He is one of the main carries, if not the main carry right now. Shanks thought Kedaya might pull the trigger there, but it's still mid lane priority. Oh no! View just has to go in. He pops the Crescent Guard. He's surviving for so long, and it's just going to be that. They are both out. It is just blood for blood, but nobody dies.
No, but the health bars of EDG are much healthier, and now they can start to move in. But
there
Meiko,
we go! Speaking of health bars, Meiko doesn't have one anymore. Team WE pounce, and Flandre dies too. Xing finally picks up his first kill of the game. The Moonlight Vigil does reign true, but it's Team WE with the quick snipe.
And it looked like EDG should have been able to move in and establish vision control there, but because they hadn't grouped up to move in. WE find the pick, and now with everyone on WE up, they're looking for the Baron. Jiejie is sprinting over to see if he can get into position.
Double TP was utilized. They have everybody in the pit right now. Half health for the Baron. Jiejie is sprinting. He needs to be at the Olympics.
It's 50-50.
It's a 50-50 burger flip nation here. BiuBiu on the back, though. They're keeping Jiejie out of the pit. 3,500 health here. Jiejie needs to find a way to get in, but is it not going to be enough? They just go on a Shanks. Shanks is dead. Jiejie goes into the pit. They've still got the damage here. Jiejie! He gets it! Jinx steals the Baron, and EDG run away with it. There is no hope any longer for Team WE as it's Flandre on the back. Xing dies, and EDG will continue their dominance.
It is not fair when you play against EDG. Every single time you think, right, we can kill Jiejie, we can take the Baron, we can take the game. The victory is just out of reach. And EDG snatch it away from you. Viper with the steal, with the double kill, and the TP in from Flandre, with EDG now taking complete control of the game.
I am literally jumping up and down in my seat in this. It is insanity. It is so close. Team WE within inches of finding stability in this game. Yet EDG are world champions for a reason, Dagda.
And you can see on this, right, Jiejie actually uses the flag and drag here as they look to kill BiuBiu, which means he's only got the ultimate to come in. So Kedaya's position here actually gives Jiejie the aim that he needs. And that's what Jiejie was like, I need to go now. Despite the fact that this could kill me, this is the only moment I have. And just the smite with that auto attack coming over the back wall as well is just enough to finish off the Baron. That was actually unbelievable coordination for EDG that they managed to get that both at the same time.
And so disheartening for Team WE, who were feeling themselves and now still feeling themselves. Be a little bit overzealous as well, as now they've gotten completely surrounded. The double chains. Oh no, it's doomed. Flandre gets the kill in the BiuBiu. No more solo kills for you today, and it is EDG reigning true.
I mean, it started off with the wheels coming off the carriage at that Baron, and now we've gone full Looney Tunes cartoon where it's only a matter of time before WE realize they've already got off the cliff and they're about to fall. EDG cashing in on this bot lane turret now as well. They've got pushing mid coming through from Jiejie, and WE, they just look down. They realize there's nothing beneath them, and it looks like EDG will manage to take this game very soon.
Team WE just trying to push out this mid lane a little bit. The inhib falls and bot. The super minion, or the minions rather, are onto the Nexus towers. They've got to send somebody back. The dragon on the table means the second dragon for EDG will be secured, and even closer to the Ocean Soul, which at this point, again, just like in that first game, I don't think they'll need at this point.
Yeah, but I mean, look, you'll take the extra regen, right? Like, Shanks has been trying to do a good job of poking a lot of these team fights, so having a little bit of that health, the sustain is going to be super handy for them. Side lanes, though, out the window here for WE. The bot lane inhibitor is already gone. And now you're looking at the Jinx, who's got a GA for herself as well. So trying to take out the main damage dealer on EDG just isn't going to be there.
Yeah, it's so difficult. It's just crazy to me, right? We were saying Team W were up at least in feeling of the game. They weren't up in gold, at least. EDG still had the advantage in there. But it was so tight-knit. And then, just like last game, all of a sudden, EDG just blow it open. And it's a couple good decisions. It's a couple great mechanical plays. And it's just all in the court of EDG.
EDG now, pushing in onto the top. So Jiejie actually kind of looking for the pick on the Shanks here, but look, EDG, like, it's so easy once they group up, right?
Yeah.
Like, Shanks can't really get in, BiuBiu can't get in, the peel is way too strong between Meiko, who again has been all absolute fire this game, and you've got Scout, who's just like, hey, I W, hey, I press R, there's nothing you can do. So for WE, they had their moment in the spotlight. It looked like they could do it, and again, you can see like why we were actually so hyped on WE. Yeah. Like, why were we giving them so many excuses? But unfortunately, EDG just too damn strong.
Can I also just say, Jiejie, we have been singing his praise. He's 100% KP right now. Like, the guy has been on fire. The whole team, we've said it over and over again. Xing tries to go for an aggressive play on the Viper, but does not pull it off. Kedaya dies to Viper, and that's already odd numbers and down in man is Team WE as they lose the rest of their base. EDG taking no prisoners.
And now they have that push in the top wave still as well, so they just get to walk on over, pick up the top lane, get the turret as well. 3 inhibitors going to be down very shortly for WE. And I mean, there's not even the objectives up for EDG to back away for, right? Like, Dragon isn't up for 2.5 minutes. You've still got no Baron for another minute, so EDG in the back away. BiuBiu on the flank, though. I don't know if he finds anything.
Doesn't hit the Shuriken flip there. Shanks going for a little bit more damage, but EDG safe and turtled out of there.
So EDG now looking for the resets. 3 inhibitors down. Super minions are doubled up in the lanes, and they're pushing into the base. The Baron is up, and you have to try and contest this as WE, or otherwise you just lose, and you can't even leave your base right now. But you see it here, right? Nice pick from Scout onto Kedaya, and they just about managed to kill him with that Jinx auto attack over the wall. And now pushing forward, you can see EDG moving over towards the Baron. At least the top wave has been pushed out, but mid has been shoved out as well for WE, but this has to be the last stand for WE.
Yeah, I mean, they've got double super minions coming in every single lane. You still got 14 seconds on the Baron spawn, but it looks like EDG, okay, they're pinging back on the Baron. Now that Viper's coming back out on the map, Jiejie about half health. Support from Team WE. But you get resets from EDG, as I'm sure they'll look to the Baron next.
Double super minions in that top wave, and about 2 more to join them in a second as well. You have to deal with that as WE. BiuBiu is going to be there to do just that.
Oh no. Oh my goodness. Shanks almost just dies, has to use the distortion, get away from the Mega Death Rocket. But as you said, that in itself pulled BiuBiu's attention from the base, and they're losing their Nexus towers, which means this is Baron, baby.
Yeah, they're not even going to give the opportunity for WE to contest. Scout playing keep away in the mid lane as well, making sure that Biu isn't even going to attempt to steal, but he's in the base trying to defend those Nexus towers, and now EDG pick up the Baron with super minions streaming towards those Nexus turrets that are so very low. Honestly, all you have to do is just walk into the base as EDG, buff up those minions, and they'll do the work for you.
The picture-in-picture was the most intense thing. You just see the entire screen filled with minions around the Nexus towers, and now it's EDG taking their places. Oh my god! Shanks, you never existed in the first place in this game. EDG will take it all. They take everything, and they make it a quick sweep series. The world champions are doing it again and again, and they are not stopping anytime soon. That's it, 2-0 for EDG.
Welcome to the top, EDG, 5-0, tying up at LNG in first place in the LPL. And man, there was some early plays coming through from WE that gave them hope, but EDG's mid-game and team fighting just too clean for WE to handle.
And that's the duality of it that's so impressive. I caught myself saying, you know, you give them a sniff of gold at the beginning of the game, it's already over. But then, if you keep a tight game, they get to the late game and they look even scarier, Dagda. Like, I don't even, like, it is, this